You are listening to the Parkflyer Podcast, where we discuss our RC adventures.
Welcome to the Parkflyer Podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of the new RC Flyer. Join your hosts, Michael and Jay, as they take flight at the park. Now on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Parkflyer Podcast. I'm Michael from Arizona, and with me always is my good friend,
Jay from the hills of Texas.
And we are here at the end of 2022. Wow.
Yeah, can't believe
Hard
it.
to believe this whole year's going by. It's crazy. We're missing our AK Mike. He is on the road. As a matter of fact, I think he may have, as of right now, he may be in El Paso with our buddy and a longtime listener and friend of podcast, 3D
Yeah, good old
Aero
Eric.
Ventures.
Aero Ventures.
Yeah, he's on his way out here to Arizona to visit his daughter, I think, AK Mike is. And actually, I talked to him the other day before he left, and he said, thank you very much for the thespian shout out. We told everyone that he was working with a community theater, and he was like, wow, you gave us props as a community theater. I really appreciate it. So kudos for him, and he was able to listen and give us a thumbs up. So he was excited, and so were his community theater thespians that were in the community theater. He told them that the podcast gave him a shout out, so they were pretty excited about that. So yes, he is en route. I think he took his Christmas holiday on the road, so we'll hopefully hook up with him again in the next season. But wow, this year has just screamed by. I think I woke up and it's December already. What the heck? Christmas is around the corner, and yeah, holy smokes, where did this year go?
Well, just like the year before, it just seems like it's flying by. I guess it's the whole thing of, the older we get, the faster the years fly by. And, when you're young, it's like, oh, man,
that'll be true.
Christmas was never going to come, or, the year's never going to end, or, oh, my gosh, a year seemed like it was 5 years long. And now you sneeze and, wipe
that's
your
true.
nose, and you're just like, oh, man, it's already summer. Oh, what? It's fall. Why are the leaves changing? What the heck?
Yeah. I told my dad, I said, the longest time of my life was going through school. I mean, I never really thought I would ever get out of high school, right? I mean, you start high school and it just seems to be lasting forever. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm in school all the time. I got to go every day. And it seems since I left high school, it's like, I don't know where the time went. I graduated and then bam, I'm an old guy.
Bam.
I was just like, what the heck, Then all of a sudden my kids graduated and now got grandkids, I'm like, oh man, this whole life just seems to be just speeding by. And my father was here just a week or two ago and he's like, yeah, son, it doesn't get better. That's what he told me. it's the older you get, the faster that clock seems to be spinning. He goes, you think your clock is fast. Mine looks like a ceiling fan just whipping around. Every time I look up, it's, another 10 years have gone by.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I told him, I said, he has a birthday here in December. And so he's closing in on the big 80. And
wow.
I told him, I said, do you feel 80? He goes, no. So he's got another year and a half, I think, or he just turned 78. Maybe 79. I can't remember. I think it's 78. So he's got 2 more years before the 80, but he's been doing good. He's out in the deer stand doing some deer hunting this year, but for the rest of us, I am getting ready for the new year. We know that the Winter Warbirds is coming up. That's a Sun Valley Flyers here in Arizona. They put on every January. They put on a Winter Warbirds, which allows us to go out and fly anything that's a warbird. So you get everything from World War II to fast-moving jets, Vietnam era stuff. You get A-10s and A-7s, and they give awards for the best airplanes. So we're looking forward to that. I've got a buddy, you may have heard us mention him, Harry Middleton. He's one of the guys who used to come to the Electric Festival with Big Mike. But he's contacted me, and we invited him out to the house to go to the Winter Warbird. So he's going to come in January and hang out with me. And
oh, that's
we're going to go hang out for the weekend. And then right after that, that's the last weekend in January. But right after that is the Arizona Electric Festival, which you guys are coming out for. And we did mention, we had Shannon Gallagher on the podcast not too long ago, and he mentioned all the fun stuff and that this is his last year being the president of that club. So pretty amazing. We've had a good year. It's been kind of, ups and down after COVID, and things have, kind of with work and everything's kind of settled down. And I feel like I'm more in a routine for this next year, more focused on things that are coming up. It seems like there's stuff like right at the beginning of the year and then nothing until like the summertime. So that's just kind of a weird feeling, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're moving into season 8 for our podcast, which is crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Where's time gone? I know.
I don't know. I've been down here in Texas, believe it or not. This is our 6th year being in Texas after moving down here from Alaska. So yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of almost getting that hometown feel now, right?
Yeah.
You had Alaska in the back in the rearview mirror for years.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, we're fitting in here and everything, and we're really liking it. Originally we were only going to be here for a short period of time, and life kept jumping in the way, so we just decided to stay here until we got things all sorted. So we're kind of settling in more, and I guess for me that means actually that might have been one of the things in the back of my head. For the reason why I haven't been putting a lot of planes together or, getting things assembled and remaking planes or whatever. And I think maybe in the back of my head, because I was thinking, I'm going to put this together, and then all of a sudden we're going to move, and I'm going to have to take it apart and have to figure out a way to move it to wherever we're going to next. I've been kind of hesitant, but
right.
I think this year I'm going to go ahead and get some things built and things repaired and get some projects done, that I've really been negligent on, not get my due RC
diligence,
duty to
vigilance
to the hobby.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, vigilance to get my stuff fixed or made or assembled or projects completed.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to doing.
Well, I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah, I totally feel your pain because, we've been in our new home with the new shop for technically a year, and looking back at all of our podcast videos, I'm looking back and going, man, my table looks the same. It doesn't look like I've been doing anything, right? That everything is still on the table from the last 15 podcasts. And that's not necessarily true. That there are things on my table behind me that have changed. They flop from one table to the next, but a lot of the stuff I've been doing is electrical, and it's not like you see, big changes coming. But I'm like you. I've had more house projects while we moved in, and for the year that we've been moving stuff, unpacking boxes, doing work outside, trying to get the front done and the back done, and get pool estimates and all that other stuff that my wife is requiring of me, and I just haven't had a chance to actually get in here and spend the time that I needed. And believe it or not, I had some downtime over these holidays when we got back from our vacation. I had a couple of days where I could actually sit in here and do some work. And so I know my buddy Barry, he's been busting my chops to get my, L39 up and running, and, hey, what's taking you so long? And I've ordered, parts for it, and all the parts are in, and, Winter Warbirds is coming up. So I'd like to have it done by the end of January. So I've been focusing more now instead of driving my tractor around and getting stuff moved around. It's colder outside. I can sit in here and put airplanes together. But I have to say, this is the first time I think that you and I have not, I can't remember this year at all that we didn't buy something for you or you for me, RC related. I mean, normally we make a joke about, the fact that we get all these airplanes all the time, and it really doesn't come from me. It comes from you, but in reality it's mine, kind of thing. But this year, I don't remember, unless you can correct me. I don't think there was any
this year was
RC
pretty
stuff
scarce
that got exchanged. Yeah,
well,
I don't know why.
And it's just because of, like you said, just life jumping in, like people don't know, right before we started, we were just telling the antics of our week of just like, as the viewers may know, or listeners may know, I call my house the scab house because, you pick out a scab, something falls apart and, it gets worse. And so we were just telling our scab house stories of just little stupid things that just happened in the house that turned into these big projects, and they turned out to be relatively easy fixes. But by the time that you spent trying to dig out, or figure out what the problem is, that's a day, or you get the wrong lead. And the next thing, that's 2 or 3 days going to the store, getting thing, and finally you find out, oh, it's a cord that's sitting out in the water causing the problem.
Oh yeah,
or
that was my story.
Yeah.
I was chasing an electrical problem with our house.
Problems
for
all over the house, unplugging everything in the house, and then you tripped over what the problem was, right?
Yeah.
At the end. And
exactly.
that finally fixed the problem. But, it's just things like that, just seem to be popping up this past year. It seems like especially bad, I guess. But we'll see what's going to happen this next year. I'm looking forward to having a little bit more time doing stuff. I know for my buddy Jim out here, I know he's got a couple of good projects that he's been delving into. So he's getting pretty eager to get some stuff done. Yeah. We've been doing a couple of things out at the place that we fly, and some improvements, and we've been talking about a couple of things we want to do out there. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. This last year, I know that we had a picnic table out there that was falling apart, and I took it home and refurbed it and took it back out and got it looking nice. Yeah. And the landowner was pretty appreciative of me doing that. And so, we have 2 tables out there. I think Jim and I are going to take apart and refurb and put them back out there. Just things like that. We're, plus we have a couple, believe it or not, we may have 1 or 2 new members. So, this upcoming year. So that'll be kind of nice. Yeah.
Coming out to the club, you mean?
Well, club, 2 guys, but we may double ourselves. There was one guy that we met that lives next to there that he's interested in flying, and then Jim got a new neighbor that was into drones that he's thinking about getting into RC flying. So we're hopefully get him out there, and that'll be pretty nice to have just a few more guys to kind of help out, and a few more new dudes to fly with. That'll be kind of nice.
Yeah, you're gonna have full blown club before you know it, man. You're gonna start paying dues and everything.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
we may have a loose association. Loose association, I think, is what we're going to go.
There you go. A handshake association.
Pretty much.
That's awesome. Well, we are just before Christmas. You got your Christmas plans all geared out? Any big RC Christmas gifts coming your way, or that you decided to do?
No, dude. Like you said, I think this year's kind of dry. Just wasn't in the cards this year. I don't know why, how that happened. We have this big RC club, not club, but I mean our podcast. You'd think I would have stuff coming down the pipe, but it just didn't turn out this year that way. But like I said, hopefully we'll see what's going to happen with this upcoming year. I got to, like I said, as you can see behind me, for all our viewers, I still have a couple of skeletons back there that I got to finish putting together, and I'm going to try to do that this year.
Good. Well, there's some news that I just got. It seems that Northwest RC and our friend Super Tim over there, he is merging with Extreme Flight. So Extreme Flight and Northwest RC are now going to join forces. They'll be considered Extreme Flight. I think Tim will move to Georgia. He is now going to be their merchandising warehouse manager, partner, whatever you want to call it. But the 3 of those guys are going to try to bring Skywing onto the Extreme Flight site, as well as the Extreme Flight airplanes. They've been very picky. I have a couple of their airplanes. I love them. I think Tim will do a fantastic job. But if he's on the East Coast, I don't know how much we'll see him on the West Coast as much. But I think he's going to do double duty for a little bit of time. And then Nick Turner, give him a shout out. He's over at the Holly Springs radio control group there.
Nick was busy on the.
He just sent me.
He was big on our site, sending us all the deals this year.
Right, he was. He's really good. Every Black Friday year, he sends us just a crap ton of deals of, hey, look, this is where you can get your discounts, and we love him for that. But he just sent us one now that was from the AMA. And the AMA has worked deals with several vendors where you can now get anywhere from 5 up to 30% off of
Ooh.
new RC products. So if you're an AMA member, check it out, and then don't forget to put your AMA membership, on out there so that that you could get discounts. We actually get discounts here at my local hobby shop for being an AMA member. They give us a 5 or 10%, I think. So it's nice to have a little bit of discount, especially in today's market where things, obviously are going up. Well, except for your pay. Most of the stuff goes up. It's more expensive, and a discount never hurts. So give a shout out to the AMA. The other thing about the AMA is your dues are due. They run out on the 31st. So if you're listening to the podcast here in December, make sure you renew your membership. And they have a couple of 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. And I'm a dual year guy. I usually do it every 2 years. And this year it's up. So I've renewed mine already. It's good till the end of 2024 again. So yeah, make sure you renew your dues and club memberships as well. So my club is due in December, so I've upped that, and it's the end of the year, so it's time to redo all those, pay all the fees, and then maybe go out and buy yourself a Christmas gift. So I actually bought a Christmas gift.
Oh, you did?
It's sitting flat on the table. You're not able to see it. Mm-hmm. But it's actually on the table. Let's see if I can get it here. Hold on a second.
What could it be, folks? What could it be?
And here it is. What is that? It's a bunch of green tape, and it's got an outline on it. But if I flip it over, can you see it?
No.
It is a carbon fiber plate. The carbon fiber, a 3mm carbon fiber plate.
Okay, pray tell, what are you going to do with a 3mm fiber carbon plate?
Okay, well, you can see the outline on it. And the outline, this is a radio tray for the L39. So I bought 2 of these, and I've actually, the radio trays were made out of kind of lightweight balsa. And I'm putting a lot of fuel and radio gear on it. And so I want it to be lightweight, but I want it to be a little sturdier.
It'll be plenty rigid with that 3mm.
Normally you put screws.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. But it's the same size as the lightweight balsa in there, or plywood, or whatever it was that they put in there. But they use really tiny screws, and so part of the turbine has what they call UAT, universal air trap. It's full of fuel and it weighs quite a bit, and so now I can actually bolt it to this plate as opposed to just having it screwed down into the wood.
Very well, and plus it gives you.
I will tell you that this.
I was going to say you get a lot of lateral strength out of that stuff too.
You do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it'll sit in the nose or actually under the cockpit where my 2 guys that are sitting over there. It'll sit right underneath those 2 guys as a radio tray. But it took me a while to find it because I had to get a 300 by 400 millimeter because it's, big. And I wasn't really happy with how much I had to pay for a radio tray. Believe it or not, I ordered off Amazon. It was the only place I could find one that actually had it in stock. So, but the website that I found it on Amazon, when I did the search, there was only like 5 left. I don't know why carbon fiber is in short supply right now, but it was. But that's
probably like everything else is in short supply.
Yes, carbon fiber plates. They had a lot of the real thin ones, but the thicker ones I think are a little tougher to find. So, unless you guys have a source for them, this was right off of Amazon. So I did get that, and actually, I think I told you last time my buddy Gary redid the wheels on my my wings, and so I actually this weekend installed those, and got them all lined up to where they actually retract, and I have got nice door brushes on that wings as well. So you know how on a normal airplane you see those black brushes and the gear comes through and it knocks all the dirt off. I have that on mine now as well, which is kind of cool. Actually, I can show you that too here. So you can see
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, it's a little brush system. Yeah, and I actually mounted them on the other side of this. So. Now, this is a good story, and I know we're kind of short on time here because it's a quick podcast this time around at the end of the year. But quick story is, how did I get those brushes? What do you think those are? Like, roll around in your head that, I know you're the idea guy, and I say, okay, I need these little brushes that go, they're bristles.
If I had to
I need them
guess,
to
just
be
off my
flat and
hand,
on
if
the
you were
door.
walking through Home Depot or something, I would either say that they were actual brushes, they were some sort of paintbrush or something like that, or like you were going through and you got the guards off of like what the heck is that called? They're like they're for the bottoms of the doors, and you can buy them, and they're like in a 1 foot section. And they go on the bottom
for the
of the
garage doors. My dad has one of those. Yeah, that's a great idea. But
that's not
the
what
one
you
that
did.
my dad got for the garage door. No, but that's a great idea. But like I said, the one that I did for my dad's garage door was huge.
Yeah,
it's like this big.
Well, no, yeah, but they have some.
So
for,
I needed something smaller.
Yeah, they have them for like a kitchen door or for like a regular door, not for a garage door.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you use? What did you use?
Well, those are all great ideas. Any other options that you can think of? You're gonna laugh when I show you this.
Nope, that's about all I can think of.
You can't think of anything.
Nope.
So what is it I'm doing? I'm building a new house, right? And so what am I having to put in the house? All kinds of audio visual stuff.
Okay.
You know what that is? You know what this is?
It's
Hard
the
to
plate,
see.
like the plate that goes, because it's so black. But oh yeah.
If I turn this over, can you see now? What if I pop this out? There you go. Look at that. So,
okay.
Believe
never
it
even
or
thought
not,
of that.
These, I know, right? What a great idea.
Well, tell our listeners.
These actually come
our
out.
viewers could see it,
and
but what
they,
about our listeners?
Okay, the viewers know what I'm doing, but if you're a listener, I am holding in my hand. Look at that! Isn't that amazing? I'm holding in my hand a. Now I had a total brain hemorrhage and forgot the name of this.
It's
thing,
an outdoor.
It's an
outdoor
audio visual pass through.
Pass through. Yeah,
nope,
that's it.
It's an indoor pass through that you would. It's an outlet cover, and it's got the brush. It's brushes so that you can push your cable. Normally where they put these is behind the television that's mounted on the wall. So you have one at the bottom of the wall and one at the top of the wall where you mount your television so that you can feed your wire in through the top part of it, push it through the brushes, and it goes down the wall and then comes out the other side. So if you had an audio visual cord hide, kind of to hide the cords, this is what it is. And so the unit that I have in my hand is actually looks like a square light fixture, and then inside it are these little brushes, and the little brushes have a metal backing to it. You can see that metal backing, and then they're just like a regular brush. And anyway, I was hanging my television in the guest room, and I had one of these, and I was like, I put it in before the television went in, and of course now that the television's in, I changed this out to be actually where it has, the cable blocks to it. And so I had this and I was like, what do I do with this thing? And then I was building that landing gear and I thought, what'd be cool is if the landing gear had these brushes where it hid the landing gear, where it's like when the landing gear comes through and then it goes back in and it takes all the crap off of the landing gear. And so this is what I mounted underneath the door. I cut it so that it would line up right with the door. And then I was a little worried about the landing gear not being strong, this being too strong to come through it. But once I mounted it with the little E6000, it pushed right through, and there you have it, folks. You've got little brushes.
Okay, I wouldn't have never guessed that.
Landing gear.
So you got me there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good. I'm glad. That's awesome. Yeah, I would have never guessed it either. It just happened that, like I said, I had been installing one of these, and when I took it apart, I realized that those little brushes actually pop out of there. And then I was like, hey, that's exactly the right size. I wonder if I can cut that without all the, stuff coming out. And sure enough, I cut the wire the length I needed it, and those brushes went with that wire, and the rest of them stayed together. And the good news is you can buy a whole pack of them for like $3 or $5 or whatever. So,
Brilliant.
now, I don't know if I would, spend the money for a foamy to put them on there, but yeah, you can just go buy one at Home Depot if you wanted to. These, everything in my house has kind of that brownish, tone to it. So I got the brown or black one, but you can get them in white as well. And the white ones would have looked halfway decent as well, but I just didn't have the white ones. I had the black ones. So that's kind of exciting with the new landing gear. And I tested it. It punches right through there like it's nothing. And the brushes just come out. And then when the landing gear goes back in, it goes right through the brushes and takes all the stuff off of it. So I thought, patted myself on the back because of something like that. That's kind of cool.
Don't hurt yourself.
So I'm excited to see what people think, I know, right? I twisted my arm, my elbow. My shoulder hurts from patting myself on the back too much.
That's it.
But those are the two things that I did this week, and got it all working, and so it it's kind of motivated me to get this thing going now that I got the landing gear back and the lighting all hooked up, and I'm doing these radio trays because that's the last thing that I have to do before I start.
Let's talk about the radio trays real quick because
so hopefully by the time.
I was going to say, because, one of the things that people may not realize is I didn't at first think about it when I saw the tape. I didn't know I couldn't really see in the monitor exactly what it was, but explain to the people why you put tape on it and the hazards of working with carbon fiber. Because a lot of people, cut carbon rods and stuff and it's no big deal, but realistically, you have to be really, really careful when you start working with carbon like that thickness, and you have to be careful of splintering it bad or being careful in the house or your own health when
that's
working
true
on that carbon fiber.
Yeah, and actually we should do a whole podcast on this, but real quickly, yeah, and we probably should do a podcast on working with carbon fiber. But first and foremost, in the few minutes what we have, this is a 3M mask. You need one of these. Mm-hmm. This is basically a dual filter mask. Anytime that I put anything cutting the carbon fiber turns to dust when you drill it or cut it. And that stuff, if you inhaled it, will damage your lungs for life. So
yep. It's no joke.
Having survived COVID and out of the hospital, the last thing I want is to have carbon fiber. It's no joke. It can give you cancer and cause you to tear that up. So definitely wear a respirator or some sort of a breather apparatus that will help you, from having that carbon fiber. Cutting thin carbon fiber, it'll splinter really well, a lot if you have something that will not cut at a fast speed. You need something that has a high enough rotation on it that it'll actually cut through and not just beat it up. So, certain drill bits or, certain mill bits, they'll grind into it, but then it'll just start splintering. So you have to be very cautious with it. Trying to put it through your bandsaw or something is not going to work either. You need something that's a high-speed rotary bit in order to cut it. I actually have a specific set of cutting wheels that are diamond wheels for carbon fiber. If you do a little research on Amazon or wherever you buy your stuff, you can find ceramic drill bits. You can find drill bits that are for ceramic or carbon fiber. You can find jigsaw blades that are specific for carbon fiber, and they are very, close. The teeth are much closer.
Are really fine. Yeah.
And you can find, saw blades that are for carbon. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, and then these are the radio trays. You can kind of see they're covered. They're actually wood, but they're covered with like a carbon fiber vinyl to make it look that way. But you can see how they're warped.
Yep.
They're kind of warped already. So they're not, they don't sit very flush, and then they've got holes in them. And you can kind of see that, yep. They've been cut. The problem is in this particular case that these go together, like this. So if you look, this is the front, and this is the back, and they piece together like this. And this is the liquid gas, and it's in the front of the plane in front of your radio tray. So you have radio stuff and then gas stuff. So the gas goes over all the electronics. Because I didn't want it that way, I wanted the gas behind it. So I wanted this to be the radio tray in the front and the gas in the back because it's closer to the tank. And that way my electronics are not running, the gas is not running over top of my electronics. They're sitting behind the cockpit, the cockpit in the back.
Right.
And then this is sitting into the cockpit in the front. And so that way, if I developed a leak somewhere, it's not dripping on all my electronics. And that's just my personal preference. It doesn't really matter. It's just my paranoia going. But anyway, because I had to change out the trays and where they sat is why I bought the new carbon fiber ones. I could have just done it out of, regular wood. But you can see on, it's not this one, it's the other radio tray. But I've already made the second radio tray with the holes. I just do that with a high-speed million bit on my router, and I just hold it in there, and wear this mask to keep and do it outside. One of the things for me is I get it all over my floor over here. I vacuum everything up because if you just wipe it up, it's still there, and I don't need my dog coming in here and sniffing everything,
breathing it all up,
getting inhaled lungs full of carbon fiber. Mm-hmm. But not saying that I haven't cut carbon fiber in my shop, but when I cut this big stuff, I usually go outside. And then if you look right behind me, you'll see that little yellow thing right there. That is an actual a vacuum cleaner. It's a shop vac, and the shop vac hose gets put wherever I'm doing the drilling. Like if I'm just going to drill a hole in it, I turn the shop vac on and it sits right there. So as I start drilling, it sucks up all that dust. It goes nowhere except into that. And that's got dual filters in it as well. So yeah, carbon fiber is great to work with. It's, it works very similar to wood. High-speed cutters do a great job on them, but it can be very dangerous if you're just kind of doing it on its own and not taking the proper precautions. So, but yeah, that's a good point that brought it up. But I know it was kind of rushed through. But maybe in the new year, we'll after the electric vessel, we'll talk more about it and kind of. Let me see if I can get this radio tray. I think it's actually in the airplane itself, so I'd have to go, get it out of the airplane. But yeah, that's the projects I have going on right now, and unfortunately, we're out of time.
Yep, out of time, buddy.
Well, from the Parkflyer Podcast, we know Christmas is just a couple of days away. If you're listening to us, thank you so much for your patronage for this year. We do have a new season coming up. We're going to try and, we've got the Winter Warbirds, like I said. We've got Electric Festival. That's in the first half of the year. We've got some other stuff coming up. If you have projects that you got during Christmas, one of the things we didn't participate and I didn't really hear too much about was our, Secret Santa type stuff. I think that kind of got, squashed last year before because of COVID, and I'll have to see if, those guys pick it back up. But make sure that you reach out to any club members and see what they can do. Hopefully this new year, we've got a couple of things we might be able to give away. And give us a subscribe on our YouTube channel. That helps us out. And we're getting more and more every day. I see a couple of subscribers every day. And leave comments. We love to hear from our listeners. We've heard it before. We just enjoy it, and give us a shout out. So from the Parkflyer Podcast staff, we want to wish you a very happy, what do we say, Chris Kwanzaa? I think that covers
Chris Kwanzaa right? Day. Woohoo!
Yeah. And for Mike, AK Mike, who's out traveling, we want to wish him a happy Festus, because he's a Festus.
That's right, he's a Festus
for the rest
guy.
of us. And every year it's kind of funny, but. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever holiday you subscribe to at this time of year. We definitely celebrate Christmas. We would like to wish you a wonderful holiday season and a very happy new year, at least from us. And with that, we will see you in the new year, which will be 2023. We're going to take a little holiday break ourselves and enjoy it with our families. But until then, we will see you in the new year. I'm Michael from Arizona.
And I'm Jay from the hills of Texas.
We will see you in 2023. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
You have been listening to the Parkflyer Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit. Please give our show a star rating and review, and feel free to email us your questions, topics, or suggestions to parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com.